Shut up and sit down.
I've become kind of famous for my signature catchphrase, whammy!
You are listening to the Dialed Podcast with Matt Legrand, Evan Price, Lance Hepler, and Jake Von During. Do you know what is the hardest part of learning to ride a bike? The pavement.
I'm all about having fun. Maybe go to SeaWorld, take my pants off.
Take it easy, champ. Why don't you stop talking for a while?
Maybe sit the next couple plays out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna quit saying things when they crop up there. The old skull, huh?
The mall is now reducing Black Friday prices to 96% off to the first 100 people inside the mall. This is going to be a f***ing bloodbath, Tom. There will be medical tents, ambulances, face painting. No doubt a lot of people you know and love are going to die.
Hi, welcome back to the Dial Podcast. I'm Jake Von During, and I am connected on the phone, Skype, FaceTime. I don't even know what we ended up using, but with Lance Hepler. What's up, Lance?
Lance Romance out on the road, coming back at you from a much unappreciated absence last week. So, yes, I'm here.
Also coming to us over the airwaves of some sort, Mr. Matt Legrand.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? You guys are really on the internet, so that works.
We're all looking at each other digitally, so.
It really works this time.
Matt, let me say, I loved the interview last week. I learned a whole bunch of things about you I didn't know about. I thought it was fantastic listening to your interview. So if anybody listening to this didn't listen to Jake and Matt's interview last week, you need to go back and listen to it because you'll fall in love with Matt Legrand even more than you already have.
Is that even possible?
Oh, that's awesome. That was a fun thing. And Lance, you're coming up soon, my friend. You're next. You're in the crosshairs.
I'm an open book and not an interesting interview, so
I don't know.
We'll see what happens.
Just wait and see. How about a little backpedaling, Matt? What you been doing these past few days? This past week?
Nothing big, nothing crazy. You know what? I had a blast riding the team ride last night on Zwift. That was fun.
That was fun. It was a good time.
It was a flatter route, which kept me in the game for the whole ride. I made it through the entire ride. When you guys did end up sprinting, I got broken pretty quick, but like I still had like 5 guys to sprint with at the end. So that was super fun.
Yeah, that last 5 miles or 6 miles, whatever it was, that got a little spicy. It was fun though.
It wasn't like crazy, it was perfect. It was nice. And the course is really pretty. I actually like the it's like the Tokyo course.
The neon Tokyo, yeah.
Like, we went through one of the new sections, which is like, I don't know what it's called, but it's like the neon. Should we just call it the neon section?
Neo Tokyo or whatever you're Neokyo.
Bright light neon area.
Yeah.
And the arcade section. Yeah, I had a blast. That was a good ride last night.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Mr. Hepler, what have you been up to?
Oh, well, I mean, I've had a couple misadventures while I've been out, and I don't know how much of it you want to hear about, but I have been back riding the bike a little bit. My back is still not quite 100%, but enough that I've been able to get on the bike and ride a little bit every day. I did take like 7 or 10 days fully off, which was really hard for me. Actually, that was kind of hard. It was one of the reasons why I finally just said, Brandy, get the dog, get in the van. We just need to go, because I was just
stir crazy,
not feeling good.
Yeah.
Yes, stir crazy and not feeling good. And so we just kind of took off. We've been riding. I've only ridden my road bike once in the last like 3 weeks, because the rest of the time it's been, we find some random gravel road, and we have found some amazing gravel roads in a few places. Or we've been mountain biking or whatnot. My wife and I also, we rock hound when we go out on these adventures, because it's like a treasure hunt, and we have ended up having to. It is. I have found some amazing pieces this week. I found this piece of petrified wood, which is, it's like a museum piece. It is. Anyway, I won't get all excited about my other hobbies on this podcast, because this is the cycling podcast.
I do have a question about that. What do you do with your stuff once you're done with it? Do you like go and like polish it? Do you make it look all pretty? Do you just throw it in a pile in your backyard? What do you do with it next?
Yes, and yes. There's a little bit of that happens with all of it. So some pieces I have some lapidary equipment. Lapidary is like rock polishing and cutting.
Yeah.
And so we polish some stuff, and some stuff just sits in a pile in my garage, and some stuff gets like displayed, some really good stuff. And so I don't know. I haven't like sold anything or made jewelry, even though we have enough kind of stuff that we could do that, but we just haven't. So
right on.
I did this mountain bike trail called Thunder Mountain.
Yes. Which, I was going to ask you about that.
So this is a single track trail that was built near Bryce Canyon National Park. So it's in central Utah. It's near Bryce Canyon National Park, and it is consistently ranked one of the higher mountain bike trails in all of Utah. And that's saying a lot, because there is great riding in Moab, great riding in St. George, great riding along the Wasatch Front in Salt Lake. And this trail was just amazing. It was like an 8-mile single track section from top to bottom. The views and the trail building was just phenomenal. It was pretty special. So
that looked ridiculous. The photos that you posted were ridiculous. It looks like Disneyland went out there and built these trails, right?
It is, I'm sure. I mean, the area is actually called Thunder Mountain, and I'm sure that was the inspiration for Disney to make their roller coaster.
That was my question, was what came first?
I don't know
mountain bike
first.
Yeah, I mean, that's chicken egg right there, but man, that was spectacular.
It was spectacular. I was a little in awe. It had been rated pretty well, and I thought, oh, let me go try this out. And it was 4 miles of rolling terrain until you hit the high point, and then like 4 miles of like downhill that was like 1,700 feet of elevation loss. I couldn't believe I didn't crash, because I kept like pulling out my phone and taking pictures. I had to stop once and take a video. It was pretty amazing.
I'm guessing you didn't have your GoPro running, right?
I didn't. No, it was just like I just
damn it, Hepler.
I can went. I know. As soon as I got halfway in, and I thought, oh my gosh, I should have taken the GoPro with this, because I do not think it would be hard to find a GoPro video of down Thunder Mountain, but I just wish I had my own video that I had made myself. So pretty amazing. So
that's awesome.
It was pretty cool. In the last few weeks, other than that, I had this full-on van disaster in the middle of nowhere that I probably shouldn't get into too much, but I don't think I talked to either of you about that. I think I may have made an Instagram post about it, then went to my Facebook page if you had seen that. But long story short, I flatted in the van 12 miles out, kind of a rougher gravel road, and I couldn't get a tow truck to come out and help me. And I ended up, I was 50 miles away from the place where I didn't have the right tool to change the tire myself, because I have aftermarket wheels on this van, and they take a special lug nut, which I didn't have in my van, which I can't believe I didn't have in my van. Just completely stupid. I'm sure I have it like in a box in my garage. It just never made it into my van, and I haven't had to change my own flat on this thing before. And I was 50 miles away from this place, and we ended up sleeping overnight in the spot that we were stranded, because tow trucks wouldn't come out the gravel road because it was too rough for them. And so it got a little spooky. In the morning, I'm like, Brandy, I can solve this, but I'm just going to have to, I'm going to have to get on my gravel bike, ride the 50 miles into town, get the right tool, ride the 50 miles back, and then I can change the flat, and then we can go get the thing fixed. And it was going to, I'm not really in that great of shape right now because I haven't done anything long, and I knew that was going to be like a 7-hour adventure. And luckily, as I was clipping into my bike, a random couple, we were out on like BLM ranch land, so kind of out in the middle of nowhere, Nevada, near Winnemucca. And a ranch couple stopped and said, "Hey, do you need help?" And I'm like, "Yes, but I can't ask you to drive me all the way back into Winnemucca to get this right thing." And they're like, "Absolutely, jump in. We will take care of you."
Wow.
And they took like 3 hours out of their day. They drove me all the way to Winnemucca, let me get the right tool, drove me all the way back to the van. I mean, I was pretty shocked that they did that.
Did you get their contact info?
I did. We got their,
they're going to they can earn
yes,
some sort of petrified wood.
Yes. Well, they actually train horses. This couple, they're named Wes and Lexi. They train horses for ranchers, like roping horses so you can round up your cattle right at the end of the season. And they had a bunch of horses on their property, and they showed me where they lived. So we stopped and took a bunch of pictures of their horses, and Brandy is going to paint some pictures of their horses and send it to them. So
that's rad.
That's kind of what what we're kind of hoping to do as a thank you, because it was pretty cool. So other than that, I'll quit telling stories because I could tell all sorts of stories. We found some great gravel roads and really kind of have enjoyed ourselves, and I'm feeling much better about myself.
Well, how's your back feeling? Be honest.
It's definitely not healed all the way, but it feels better. I've still been able to. I can't like hike dozens of miles, and it doesn't really bother me when I ride, but it's just not there yet. It's definitely better, but it's not there yet.
Are you going to go see a doctor?
I probably am going to have to see a doctor because it's been a month now and it isn't healed all the way, and so don't pressure me, Jake.
Nice. Cool. I don't have any backpedaling other than, yes, I rode on Zwift another 7 days. Yay. It's the streak continues, but it's again all too much on the trainer. The weather hasn't been like super cooperative here. I mean, there've been a couple nice days, but it's getting cold and it's getting a little dreary out and it's been cloudy, and I don't know. I just haven't felt compelled to go outside and ride. However, what's that, Matt?
I was going to say, I think I rode outside once with Sam for 3 miles.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask you about the Dialed 100. Is today the last day or tomorrow?
Today is day number 99 of the Dialed 100. Oh. So that'll be the day that this podcast comes out. We're going to turn this one around today because we're recording on a Wednesday. So people riding in the Dialed 100 will be doing 99 today. And then tomorrow, a lot of people are going to try and go outside and ride on Thanksgiving, but we are going to host a gravel ride outside for anybody that wants to come out and do their 100th ride, which should be a lot of fun. It's a lot like what we did last year, and we had a blast.
Oh, fun.
And, yeah, it should be a good time. But yeah, that'll be my first ride outside in a while. But my shoulder still hurts, but I think it's starting to show maybe little signs of like not hurting so bad. So I'm gonna go take a spin outside and see how it goes. Should be fun. But
I will say Brandy is still streaking. It has not been convenient in a couple of places, but she's actually managed to ride an hour every day, and we will figure it out today too. So she'll be day 99 today. So.
That is fantastic. Good for Brandy.
Good on her.
Yeah, there's still, I don't know, there's probably 6, 7, 8, 10 people. I got to go take count of it, but there's still quite a few people doing it. I'm always proud of them to see how far they get. And even the people that only made it for 20 rides or 30 rides or 50 rides, that's still an accomplishment in its own right. I mean, that's a lot of days in a row, and a lot of people have never done more than like 2 or 3, so it's neat to see them do that. I don't know if it's actually smart, but it's still fun, right?
It's still fun.
So that's about that.
Jake, one more thing.
Go ahead.
I forgot. I need to shout out to somebody because we stopped in the little town of Richfield, Utah. It's in central Utah. It sounds close to Ridgefield, but it's not. It's Richfield. And believe it or not, we have our former babysitter that babysat our kids. She's now married and has 3 of her own kids and lives in this little town of Richfield, Utah. Her husband, Morgan Schaefer, he co-owns this furniture and barn door building company that's there in Richfield, and he's a mountain biker. He is actually, and so we were rolling through, and Morgan took me on a ride on some of their local trails in this Richfield area, which were fantastic. There were some purpose-built mountain biking trails in Richfield area that were just fantastic, and I got to ride with Morgan Schaefer. So
sweet.
Wow.
And Morgan is a listener to the podcast, I believe. And so if I didn't mention that I went for a ride with him, I'd be in trouble. So Thank you, Morgan, for the ride.
Yeah, we'll cut that out and we'll put it back into your back pedal, right?
Okay, yeah, right.
Right on. Cool. Any cycling, triathlon-y, newsy kind of stuff that you guys want to talk about? Matt, I know that there was an Ironman last weekend, which was kind of cool.
There were 2. Cozumel had a pro field, and the gold medalist, his name's Christian Blumenfeld, and he won it by a big block, I think. On the women's side, I can't remember what her name is. Like Sarah, what was her name? Sarah, I can't remember. Starts with an S. It's like something won it. I forget what her last name is, but I wasn't super familiar with her. Usually that's not a huge race. Like they do have a pro field at Cozumel sometimes, but this year they got the Olympic gold medalist. It was his first Ironman race. At the Olympics, they do like the Olympic distance. So like a 10K run. And so this was his first full, and he did just fine.
Nice.
So that was good. The other big race on the triathlon side was Ironman Arizona. And we had a couple of dialed local team members do it.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. Scott Goodrich, he hasn't ever been on the podcast, but at some point we should have him on the podcast.
Yeah, seems like a really great guy.
He's definitely a really good guy. He qualified for Kona for 2022. Is that? Yeah. So the way they're doing the World Championships is weird. They have they're going to have 2 World Championships in 2022. They're going to have the 2021 World Championships in May. And then in October, they're going to have the 2022 World Championships. A little weird. One's going to be in St. George. One's going to be in Kona. And so I'm not sure if he's qualified for the St. George one as well as the Kona one. But I think qualifying for the Kona one was like the big ticket that he wanted to get. And so he's super pumped about that. His time was like 10 hours in a couple of seconds. And I was like, like I was watching the live thing, and I was just like gutted that he didn't break 10 hours because that's a nice big barrier to break. And I was like, I am going to swim with this guy through the winter, and we will, because like his run and his bike are really good. It's just like his swim, you can tell he can just like needs to just a couple little tweaks, and he'll be there. He'll actually smash 10 hours. So I think there's actually like 15 minutes that he can get on the swim. So we'll see. Joshua Monda also raced really well. I mean, I think all of us expected him to do really well, so no pressure, but he, I think he was 9:14. I could be wrong about the time, but somewhere
you're
in
correct.
that.
It was 9:14 in seconds.
Okay. Yeah. We all expected him to do really well, and he just did it. I know he struggled a little bit early on in the run, and kept taking in calories, and came around, and body came around, and he just made it happen. He's just a tough guy.
Yeah.
So I haven't really chatted with him about his race, but I mean, he's another guy that was like really fun to follow and just see how, he held up. I know he has a world championship qualifier. And so I don't know if this is, again, same kind of thing where it's like a second world championship qualifier. I'm not sure. I'd have to ask him.
Cool. Yeah,
Good for him, man.
Yeah, he stopped by the lab yesterday and we chatted for a minute. And he said there was a couple things with his nutrition and hydration that he needs to kind of tinker with just a little bit. That was a tiny bit off that caused him to struggle a little bit. I think he ultimately did end up getting a little bit dehydrated, but he still maintained the pace that that he set his mind to. Like after he knew that he wasn't going to go sub 9, he still stuck to it. He didn't like just throw in the towel and start walking or anything like that. So it was kind of neat to see him. Yeah.
And he's one of those guys who's done a couple Ironmans. Like, okay, he knows how to hurt. He knows how to do this stuff. Like, if you're brand new to that kind of hurt locker that you're going to be at an Ironman, then you're like, okay, this could go really bad really quickly. But like, you just know he's tough. He's going to be okay. Even though he went through a tough spell like early in the run, but. Yeah,
he's such a great guy. You can't help to root for him. He's just, you don't get nicer of a person right there. And God, the guy's so strong. My God.
Yeah.
He came out and did some rides with us over the summer and whatnot when he had some time worked into his schedule, and he made everyone hurt.
Yep.
So cool. Anything else?
Well, that was triathlon.
Yep. Matt, or Lance, you got anything?
I do. The Cyclocross Crusade series wrapped up this week. Their 6-race series. One of the great disappointments of the season for me was that I was not able to do a single one of the 6 races, but our team actually ended up doing really well. We won the team competition again, which is fantastic, which means that our team will get call-ups for next year again. I don't hate to say it, but I'm pleased to say the reason we won it was mostly on the backs of our junior racers.
Yeah.
Who did just really fantastic. And we had several teammates also who made the podium in their specific categories.
Yeah.
I know Summer Westerfield, Hunter Westerfield both won their categories. Chris Surratt won his category. Who else? Whitney Hayden won.
Yep.
Won her category. So, and we had a few other people that made podiums as well. So, I think Danny Stiles made the podium in her category. I mean, we had great participation in it, and it all just ended up going quite well.
Yeah, Alan Plank, who was on the podcast a few weeks back, he finished 4th overall in a very tough Masters category, so it was kind of nice. He would have been on the podium had he not had some mechanical issues and a tough go out at Heron Lakes a few weeks ago, but there was just those 2 races that kind of hampered him. We were talking about that a little bit on the ride last night, but yeah, he had another great season. Not bad for a guy that's just, somewhat new to cyclocross. I think this is only his 2nd season.
Yes.
So good times.
So super great participation for that. Even Paul First.
Yep.
In the Cat 1-2 category ended up 5th overall.
Isn't that huge?
Series,
yeah.
Which is just amazing. So super proud of our team and everything. The series ended up being very well done. Not quite the numbers it's had in the past, but I'm sure that's a COVID thing. And so I think it's going to come back stronger and better than ever, next year as well. So we're excited for that.
That team competition is pretty neat because what a lot of people don't realize is there are over 200 teams that are registered and competing for that team competition to get those team call-ups through the Cross Crusade. And a lot of those teams are independent of the actual Oregon Bicycle Racing Association because there's teams that come from all over the place. So to know that we've won that 2 consecutive years now, that is fantastic.
It's fantastic. It was not a runaway. We just barely beat Team Finger and Deschutes Brewery. So they were knocking on the doors. So, I mean, if our juniors hadn't showed up, we would not have won that. I'm looking at the team results right now. There were 197 registered teams.
Well, if you look at the very bottom, though, there's a bunch of teams that were tied for last place. So
that means they probably had nobody that raced.
Something along that, where they just had the same amount of points. But anyhow, the net of it is I think there was a little over 200 teams, if I'm not mistaken, when you factor in the people that are showed as tied. But that's pretty cool. The team competition, we ended up having 146 points, and they do it kind of like on a golf score thing, and the next closest team was 211. So, I mean, that's close. I mean, I don't know how hard it is for them to close that margin, but I think we kind of almost led it from bell to bell, right?
Pretty close. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good job, team. Good job.
Yeah. Way to go.
Maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, Lance, and I can join you next year.
Yes. I'm hoping we will both be able to be there next year.
Yeah. Cool.
Internationally, not a whole lot of other news other than Matthew Vanderpool, Wout van Aert, and Tom Pidcock are all scheduled to start their World Cup cyclocross racing just after Christmas. So there will be some exciting races with those three monsters coming up as well. So,
sweet.
Other than that, I don't think there's anything else that was really worth talking about.
Cool. Today, what we're going to talk about is it's almost Thanksgiving. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. How did that happen, by the way? It's just crazy how fast time went on. But as we all know, the day after Thanksgiving is Black Friday, and that's when all the deals kind of start coming down the pipeline. And we want to maybe try and put some things on your radar that you can consider taking advantage of. Get some deals to get the things that you're going to need. So we wanted to run through some Black Friday deals, and there will be a few other little things that we'll talk about as well. But that's like the primary thing that I want to go through. And before we do that, is there anything that you guys are jonesing for? Anything that you guys are like patiently waiting for to go on sale, or that you're going to want to purchase for yourselves individually for this coming Black Friday / holiday season? Anything out there?
I think that, nothing too crazy. There was a lot of stuff that like I knew was coming up for deals and I waited for and picked up some stuff, but I don't think I'm going to go too crazy on the actual day. I am hoping to like post a video talking about like watches that are on sale for, people. I definitely don't need any more watches, although some of the watches that I purchased recently like are going on sale, which is frustrating. But yeah. And so I think that the actual day of Black Friday, I might not make any purchases, which would be crazy.
How about you, Lance?
I didn't have my eye on too many things either myself personally, other than I'm having some auxiliary electrical issues with my adventure van, and I might need to buy a new Goal Zero unit. And if they're on sale this weekend, I'm going to have to jump on something like that.
Telling you, man. REI got the 20% off.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yep, I know this from personal experience, so just picked one up. So yeah, for me, let's just be honest. All three of us are pretty spoiled. We pretty much have all the things that we want and could need. I mean, sure,
yep.
There's always like that. Oh, I want that too, but do I need it? No. But there's really one thing that I'm probably just going to take advantage of that I did last year, and that's just going to be re-upping my Training Peaks program account, because I think there's like a Black Friday special that they do where it's like 20 or 30% off, and that's probably the only thing that I'm personally going to throw money at this coming Black Friday, because it's just a matter of like, all right, needs and wants. I don't really need anything. There's some things that I want, but the Training Peaks is probably the only one. So, and it's going to be important to me this next coming year, because I'm hoping to try and figure out some sort of way to get back into some sort of shape where I can be competitive. So if everything falls into line, but anything else for you guys?
I got a funny Training Peaks story. In the height of my fitness, my fitness number on Training Peaks was like 135.
That is astronomical.
It's super high. And that was when I'm doing big miles and lots of interval training with big miles. And when I looked at my Training Peaks number yesterday, it was 56. It's like falling off a cliff.
You're less than half the man that you used to be, Lance.
I'm less than half the man. It's just destroyed, taking all that time off and then only doing short stuff in cyclocross.
Gotcha.
Fitness score.
Gotcha.
Not so good.
Okay, so what are some deals that you guys have heard about that are coming down the pipeline? What would you guys like to tell the listeners about that they should take a peek at? Matt, you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm hoping to make a video talking about a lot of this stuff, and so I'll talk specifically more to cycling stuff, and maybe this isn't cycling, Lance. Peloton is like $600 off. Does that count as cycling, or is that spin, or is that spin class?
That's spin class. The house we've rented for Thanksgiving, we don't check in. We check in a couple of hours, and it's supposed to have a Peloton bike. So I might have a Peloton report for next week.
I know, but I'm worried that like you're going to want to kill yourself, right? Because like you're competing against your class or whatever.
Correct.
And
right.
that's not going to be good for your back.
No, and I'm probably going to do it anyway.
Think about this. Those spin bikes have that weird like flywheel piece that kind of can really jar your back.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a freewheel on those?
Do not hurt yourself. What?
The Peloton doesn't have a freewheel? It's kind of like a fixie kind of setup?
No, it's a nice
it's like an exercise bike, but
it's more of a spin bike than a. I think. Am I wrong about that? I can't.
I don't know. Does it freewheel? Because spin bikes don't freewheel.
Exactly.
Right?
It's kind of like riding a fixie.
I don't know. I'll have to tell you tomorrow.
I'd have to say that it has a freewheel on there because I would have heard so many stories about people that don't know what they're doing on a bike killing themselves because they're trying to keep up with the class and that thing's just like got the inertia going. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like something I would be wrong about. I feel like I would find that very annoying, which I always have on spin bikes, and so I don't remember specifically when I was doing it, but I was just thinking about your back and worried that you're going to hurt yourself. So
Lance, when you get on this Peloton, you're going to just try and crush all these mere mortals and let them know, even though you got your 56 score on Training Peaks.
Yeah. just like how yesterday I found some bike paths, so of course I went for the KOM on it because I'm stupid and
did you get it?
I did not get it. No.
so worth it.
Matt, I've had some people contact me about some discounts or some deals on some Garmin watches, and the discount that Garmin's handing out is like better than the price that I can get as a dealer sometimes, which is just absolutely bonkers. Anything in particular, any particular watches that you think people should go and take a peek at right now?
Well, the 745 is a really nice watch, and it's $100 off right now. So it goes from, I might be wrong about the pricing, $500 to $400. It's a large, like percentage off on a watch that's fairly new to the market. Yeah. I mean, so that would be one. You can also do $100 off the 945 or the 945 LTE, but because those watches are a little bit more expensive, it's a little, it's a little less percentage off. You're looking for like the best deals in the world, or maybe you just want to get the watch that you want, and the 745 is a good option, but so are the 945s and the 945 LTE. Then there was the big one was like the Phoenix 6 Pro, which was, I don't remember if it was $150 off or what, but it was significant. My only hesitation with that would be like, yeah, you're getting an awesome watch at a really good price, but there could be a Phoenix 7 coming in the future, right? And we don't know, but we assume that that's coming soon. So that's the one I would be a little hesitant. I don't think that the 945 will update quite as quick because they just posted the 945 LTE. The 745 is still new, so I don't think they would update that one, but I could be wrong about that too. It's just that, like, when you're getting a watch, you kind of want to future-proof yourself, at least future-proof yourself a couple of months. And so that would be my hesitation that way.
Yeah. The rumor mill about the Phoenix watches, and I can say this, I know it's okay to say it, is going to be sometime in January, February of next year. But
January.
Yeah, if you're looking at getting something, then that's something to keep in the back of your mind if you're going to be picking up the 6. The 6 is still a fantastic watch. And that was one of the watches that I was told about a discount that was just astronomical. I'm like, 100% go jump on that. Go get that deal. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So, cool. If you're looking for a trainer, I know that the kickers they're going to be going on sale. There's going to be a 10% discount on those that I know of for sure.
On which ones?
All kickers stuff. They're
kickers.
They're doing a 10% deal on their stuff. So that's kind of good. You can save a few bucks there. And it says here that
that's probably coming soon, right?
Yeah, that'll start on Black Friday.
Okay.
They're doing like this whole thing where all customers purchasing any model kicker, power trainer, that includes the kicker bike. If you get one of those, are eligible to receive a 1-year free subscription to the system program too, which is kind of cool. So I haven't had
So you can get 10% off a kicker and a year to
the system
in 1 year system.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, anytime you pick up a kicker, you're going to get the 1 year system thing. Yeah. I'm not sure. I think that's going to be something they keep going forward with. So, but still 10% off a kicker is a good deal.
Yeah.
Jake, you tried a kicker bike this last week. What was your experience?
Lance, I tried it and I fell in love with it.
Oh no,
No.
because they're like $3,000, aren't they?
3,500.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, you guys, Matt, you got to come over and try it out. It's
It's at your house? I'll
it's
totally
at
try
my
it.
house. It's fantastic. It's I thought I had a pretty sweet setup. I had my nice road bike because I haven't been riding outside, so I went ahead and put my normal road bike, my BMC T machine on there, and it was riding on my Kicker, the new fifth generation, and it was a sweet setup. It's a 12-speed drivetrain and super smooth. Doesn't have to be calibrated. Yada 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 yada. And then I was talking with the guys over there watering. They convinced me to try one, and I went ahead and said, "All right, I'll try it." And not for nothing, I should know what these things feel like, how they ride, and all that other fun stuff, because we've actually moved quite a few of them. And I agreed to it. I went ahead and set it up. I got on it and went, "Oh my God, why did I do that?" It was like, it kind of harkens back to the first time that I actually ever used a Kicker, and it was one of those situations where it was a teammate of ours, Jordan Rickards. He was coming over to do something. I was helping him with the bike, and he was going out of town. I think he was packing his bike, and he's like, "Hey, you want to try my Kicker?" I'm like, "Sure, why not bring it over?" Because at the time, I think I was riding on a kinetic fluid trainer, and that kind of sucked. And it was loud and all that stuff. He brought it over, and I put it on there. And like the first thing I did when I got off it, I sent him a text. I'm like, "Damn you! Now I have to buy one of these things." And I think by the time he got back, I'd already secured one. But it was all of that in a bag of chips, you guys. That Kicker is butter smooth, super quiet. I thought the climb was going to be kind of a gimmicky thing, but it's actually really nice, and it's a quick, simple thing to hit a button if you want to do it manually. And what's kind of nice about that is you can kind of put yourself in that position and kind of bend over and stay on the bars and just stretch your back out a little bit, or you can just kind of play with your positioning on the bike so you're not getting put in a position where you're going to get like saddle sores or something like that, because if you're sitting in a stationary position not going very far, that can happen. But it's also kind of fun just to turn it on and let Zwift kind of do its thing, so that you can have that whole immersive feel of riding on the hills. So there was that. The shifting is incredibly smooth, and it's so quiet. And as a matter of fact, we were doing our ride last night in the hot section at the end. I got out of the saddle, went to go do the sprint, and I was actually able to, out of the saddle, just quickly shift, and it was so smooth. Like there was no hesitation, no nothing. And I was actually able to get better power production because of that. It was one of those things where I could actually shift in sprint and actually garner a few more watts, and it just worked out really well. So I guess I can just say that, yes, it's fantastic, and I'm going to give it a glowing review. And I liked it so much that we'll probably end up having to do a little bit of a video on it. So, Lance, I'm going to make you ride on it, too, because you're going to have to speak about it.
So here's my question is, how quickly adjustable is it? So, like, if I shared a Kicker bike with my wife, can you swap them quickly?
100%. So Chris Surratt, we know Chris Surratt, right? He and Corey both have one. And I think Chris, I'm going to quote here, said he can swap his position to her position in about 15 seconds, and I would have to concur with that.
Wow.
There's 3 quick adjusts to slide or to adjust the cockpit, and then there's one quick adjust or 2 quick adjusts for the cockpit, and then 1 quick adjust for the standover height. So you can actually change the standover height pretty quickly too. And then there's quick releases for the saddle height and the bar height. And once you know everything, it's got all of the measuring tape on there, and you know exactly what your height is, and you just mark that down, or where you make a mark on the device itself. No joke, I would have to concur with them. You're 15, maybe 30 seconds at most to make the adjustment. Like once you've done it a few times between the two of you, it's just piece of cake.
You know what I'm excited about? They're going to eventually make some sort of like motorized mechanical shift between 2 or 3 locations.
It's
and then
like,
if you have like kids doing, if you have kids in your house that are potentially riding, then you could just have like a button for Ethan, a button for your wife, a button for yourself.
That's 100%. That's 100% where I was thinking about that too. I'm like, I was telling my wife about this. I'm like, soon it's going to be like when you get into a car, you got the different seat positions. You just push a button, and it goes exactly where it's probably going to know something like that. So that would be pretty rad.
Years, maybe that's a couple of years off, but Jake,
I
I decided while you were talking that I can't ride that bike at your house because I will want to buy it, and I don't.
Right.
So much money.
Well, even if you did want to buy it, they're sold out right now. They're going to be out of stock until about February. But so
that one's probably on sale for Black Friday then.
Well, I think you can order one. It's just not going to ship until February, if I'm not mistaken. We do have
Same
one.
Deal, 10%.
I think so. Yeah, I think everything on their stuff is they're allowing a 10% reduction for map pricing for all people that sell them, and then they will be on their website for 10% off as well.
Okay.
Which is pretty solid, right?
Not bad.
What else do you guys see out there? What else is going on in the world of Black Friday sales?
One of the things that I saw was we've talked about Dylan Johnson before. Dylan Johnson's been on our podcast.
Yep.
He is a gravel racer, mountain bike racer, and a coach. And all his training plans are going to be 20% off for the next few days.
That's fantastic.
So Dylan Johnson does most of his training plans are for sale on the Training Peaks platform.
Yep.
I believe. And so if you wanted to buy one of his plans, they're 20% off. And I think there's different levels and types of things you can do with Dylan Johnson as well.
I haven't gotten a look, but what's he charging on average for some of his plans?
Yeah, you shouldn't ask me that. I don't think they were that expensive to begin with, because if you can buy different cookie cutter plans and they're only a couple $100 or less than $100 to buy a plan that you plug in for your system. But I don't know exactly if you want more customization or weekly contact, what the price ends up going to. But I remember them not being that expensive.
Gotcha. What is something that you guys have that you currently use that you think everybody would really enjoy that you should tell them to keep an eye out for to be possibly going on sale? Is there like any kind of like a device? I know that like Matt just did a light video, and it's that time of year for lights. Do you know if there's any cool lights that are going to be going on sale?
I haven't seen that. The thing with Black Friday is it's so like pervasive. It's like almost any product you want. Like if you think you need some new lights, like you'll find a Black Friday deal and get some lights. Even if there's a specific light that you want, it's still probably on sale. There's just so much stuff on sale. So if you're holding out for lights, definitely pick that up. That's a good purchase. Lance and I both have these Air Relax boots. They're kind of weird. I don't think that I'm going to do a video on them soon because they have a new product coming out, and so they sent me like 2 different styles of Air Relax boots to review. That's going to be like, even the style that Lance and I have is going to be like $100 off, and they have another fancier one that's $250 off. So there's deals to be had on stuff. Again, my only hesitation with that kind of stuff is like, I think it feels good, but I don't know if there's a lot of science behind you. You know, you're not going to like become faster by using compression boots and things like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have them as well. And I have to say that, I don't know the exact science behind that. I don't know if it's actually been quantified, but I do know that after I use them, I am definitely more relaxed, and I think that I sleep a little bit better. And if it's going to help me sleep better, I'm 100% behind it, because that's where all the recovery actually happens. So if it can get me to that point, then that's what I'm looking for, and I think that it's a good thing. I actually bought a set of them for myself and a smaller size for my wife, and we actually use them quite often. So
yeah, it's great. I mean, it's a cool company. The nice thing about them is like there are companies that do the same thing for 3 times as much,
correct,
price wise.
Okay.
And so it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, you know, if the real benefit is, you know, the compression piece, then race to the bottom on price, right? Because it's not like you can, you know, you can't patent the compression of your legs.
Sure.
It's just like a matter of getting it done.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I saw just the other day there's another player that came onto that marketplace that's providing those boots as well. So, but Air Relax has actually been pretty good to work with. We've ordered quite a few of those sets for people on the team, so it's a good company. Good. Yeah, and they make a couple other cool devices like a massage. It's not your Theragun, but it's in the vein of that, and they've got different attachments that you can put on there. It's called the Hammerhead or Hammers or something like that, and it actually works decently well.
There are a lot of those massage gun companies out there. The one that I've got a couple of them because companies send me stuff, and there's one the company's called Ben and something else. I'll look it up, but there's one that I think is pretty decent. I had the Theragun for a little while, and that was fine too. Again, it's another one of those things where it's like, I do feel like that it works. It feels like it loosens up, especially like my calves and things like that. I don't think you're going to see like any sort of increase in athletic performance from using some of these technologies. Like it would be very hard to do a study and measure that. However, if you feel more relaxed, or if it helps you, work through a knot in your calf or something like that, then there's benefits there. So
Sure. Good stuff. What else you got, Lance?
One thing I would keep an eye out for, there are, as I travel around, there's a couple of apps that I use to find the right cycling places, and most of them, to have actually really good service, you need to buy their pro. You have to get their pro version, not just the free version. So some like MTB Trails is one I use quite often to find good trail beta on mountain bike trails, and it's really simple to use. There's also Riba GPS, helps me find gravel routes in different areas that I can download to my computer. And All Trails is a hiking app that you can actually download maps to as well. I'm sorry I'm giggling because my daughters are dancing in the grass out in front of me trying to distract me, and it's working. So, but yeah, those are 3 apps I use quite often, and sometimes those places run deals, and that could be helpful too.
Yep. Another thing to look for right now that you're going to find Black Friday deals on that are probably going to be even better than you would normally see would be like your outside cycling apparel. So if you think about like right now, everybody's buying winter stuff. So you'll probably see some stuff on sale, but you might see some people trying to really just blow out and get rid of the summer stuff so that they can bring in the new collections. Go out there and find that stuff, buy it now, sit on it until spring, summertime, and you'll thank yourself every second because it'll be so cheap. So go do that too. Other thing, Lance is showing us videos of the girls dancing. That's kind of funny. Other things, sales don't stop on Black Friday. We will roll over into Cyber Monday, and then as we get closer to Christmas, we're gonna have like the pre-Christmas holiday, and like everybody's gonna try and just like really just leverage stuff, and that's fine and well. There might be some other deals that'll pop up as we get closer to the Christmas time. But what you got to be careful with, especially with electronics, is there's a lot of shortages right now with chipsets and things of that nature. So they don't have a ton of supply to begin with. So you've got to, like, you kind of do need to, if you have something specific that falls in the vein of being affected by the supply chain issues right now, and you really want to make sure that you get it, do make sure that you do that on Friday, because I would suspect that probably after Cyber Monday, there's a lot of people that are going to be sold out of stuff, and you might be in a pickle trying to get the things that you want, and you might end up having to pay even more than you were hoping to. So keep that in mind too. Matt, do you have any other parts or pieces or products?
So we've talked about this on the podcast. There's a company called Rovi, which is kind of a Zwift alternative. You do like live courses on Rovi. I think it's 25% off for their Black Friday deal, which might be something that you're into, if you want a Zwift alternative or you just want to check it out, like that might be like worth checking out now, deciding if you want to take on that 25% discount. And that's for their 6-month or 12-month subscription plans. So that might be good.
Have you used Rovi yet?
I can't remember if I tested it out when they first came on board. I haven't used it in a long time. So I do think it's probably worth retesting. I have this idea of like making a video series where I, test Rovi, test Zwift, test, even like Trainer Road, which I know is very different. And then system, and just kind of like comparing all of these indoor systems against each other and just kind of like having a big, detailed video on that. But I've been planning that video for like 3 winters and I have yet to get around to it. So it's a lot to take on. So.
Yeah. I still think it's tough to beat Zwift. I know that Trainer Road's probably right there too with its certain respects, but those are the 2 primaries that most everybody's going to. But I am intrigued by the system. I want to check that out because they seem like they're trying to put some effort into that, which is kind of neat.
They've got some cool stuff.
Yeah. Cool. All right. I don't know if I really have anything else other to add to that. I'll have a closing little thing when we talk here. But Lance, you got anything else?
No, I don't.
All right. So I'll close then this little chapter out. If you're looking for something and you want a deal, Dialed Cycling Lab. We got stuff too. We'll put stuff up on the website and we'll, you'll see the same little deal with the Wahoo stuff. We'll do a 10% discount on that. But if you want to, and you're listening to this, and we keep our website up to date and all that other fun stuff. If you need something, you can go on to dialedcycling.com. You can check out the website. Use the code podcast. That again is podcast. Check that code out. See if that helps you out. So we like to say that we are always here to beat the internet. So let's see if we can help you out. If our listeners are listening and they need some goodies and whatnot, use the word podcast in that discount code and see what that does for you. Little shameless plug there. Sorry. But
no, I
love it.
Yeah, other than that, it should be fun. I'm kind of interested to see what's going on, and maybe if we find some really cool stuff that just kind of blows our socks off, we'll post it up on social media and share with the folks so that they can jump on that as well. But
yeah, there should be more stuff announced on Friday, Black Friday.
Yeah.
I just am. It's crazy how early things have started with deals.
Yeah.
But I would say, if there's something that you need to purchase, Friday would be a good day to do it. But then there's always Saturday and Monday.
Yep. And if you're having questions or you're not sure, or you need to ask any of us anything directly, you can send an email over to info@dialedcycling, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. We will be closed on Friday, though. We're not going to be open. We're staying home, and we're going to be doing family stuff and probably be riding a bike or something like that. But if you shoot an email, the email's always working, and that'll fall in the inbox, and the website will always be open. So do that, and we'll take care of you as best as we possibly can. Anything else on that topic? Moving on.
Nope.
Let's do one last thing. Matt Legrand. What's going on in the world of Matt Legrand, YouTube superstar?
Yeah, superstar. So I always have a video to talk about. Koros is a watch company, and they're doing good stuff. They've done a really good job of taking like some of their brand newest features and porting it back to their older watches. So they just had a big announcement, in which case, I made a little video about that on Monday. And then let's see. I will also post a Black Friday's video special. I might dive a little more detail into like watches and running stuff and swimming stuff, like deals that are a little bit more targeted towards triathletes.
Sure.
So check that video out. I'll probably like wake up early on Black Friday and try to like produce the video and publish it by, mid-morning or something like that, because that'll be a quick turnaround, and I won't work on it on Thanksgiving or else my wife will kill me. So
would you ever consider just live streaming it?
I saw a friend that's going to do the exact same thing. Dave Dillon is going to live stream it. And as soon as I saw him like post that he was going to live stream it, I was like, that's smart. Like, why? That's like the smartest thing to do, because then you can talk live with people about all the deals that are kind of piling through as it's happening. So I'll watch his live stream, but I will, I'll do a produced video. And I haven't done a live stream on my channel because I don't know how best to tackle that. And I have been on other people's live streams before, but I haven't done one personally.
Sure.
So that's something that I would like to explore. But I also want to make, I don't know, like how I want to do it. Like, I have to think about it. Like, do I do something where it's like just for Patreons, or like just for, or maybe it's like every Sunday night I do this live stream and people can tune in for that. I don't know. And I don't want to commit to something that, I haven't figured out yet. So
sure. Well, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, hey, real quick, how's it going with your video? I watched the video the latest video that you posted with all the guys.
With all the watches?
Yeah.
Okay,
Those are fantastic.
So
Those are great videos.
Yeah, so I have a series of videos coming out, and it's basically like talking to some of the top sports tech YouTubers.
Sure.
There is 8 of them, I think, and they all gave their favorite watches, which I thought, like, even some of them were like, I don't really want to do this because you don't really want to tell people like what your favorite watch is, because it's just weird when you're reviewing watches. But then they all just like came around to it and just gave their favorite watches. So I was really surprised that they kind of admitted to it all. And they, that video's done really well. I don't know exactly how well it's doing, but over 1,000 views in a couple of days is good for me. And I think people like it. I think people like kind of just seeing what people are saying. And people are concerned too. They're like, well, what about my watch? Why isn't that one of your favorite? And I tried to like warn people right at the beginning of the video, like, this is just these guys' opinions. They have access to every watch. Price is less of a concern. They're going to test all this stuff. And honestly, they have so many watches that they just have a different view on some of this stuff than like the normal person. Like if you like Koros and they didn't mention your favorite Koros, it doesn't mean that Koros is a bad watch. Like in fact, the Koros Pace 2 is like such an excellent watch for the value. It didn't get mentioned because I didn't ask those guys what's the best value, watch or whatever, because they probably all would have mentioned that watch. But it
was just kind of neat to see because you've got 8 different people with 8 different perspectives, and you had almost 8 different watch choices. I mean, there were a couple of repeats in there, but it was still kind of funny seeing GP Llama is like, no watch, thanks. I don't want no stinking watch. So that was kind of fun.
Or wait, does Fit pick the Casio calculator watch?
Yeah, that was classic.
That was perfect.
Yeah, well played.
Yeah, those guys are great. They're so nice to do that. I mean, I can't thank them enough. I'm gonna take this Friday off, so those videos are coming out on Friday. I'm gonna do the Black Friday video instead, and then we'll start back this series the following Friday. And I think the next one is like what camera equipment they use for their videos.
Oh,
but I have a whole bunch more questions coming for them, like what their favorite bike is, what their favorite shoes are, like a whole bunch of cool stuff coming.
Oh, cool.
And so I think that there's at least, 4 more of those videos in the series.
Sweet. Cool. Hey, Lance, what you got for one last thing, bud?
So there was a big race announcement that came out this week. Lifetime has announced a new National Grand Prix cycling race series for elite cyclists for next year, which includes a $250,000 prize purse for this 6-race series. Now, the beauty of it is it's an off-road series of races. So there's 3 gravel races and 3 mountain bike races. So I think this is just what gravel needs, and I think it's going to create a lot of buzz and excitement in all the off-road racing community. So
the $1 million question, is it going to be sanctioned?
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be sanctioned, but I'm not sure. That yet remains to be seen. And it's only for 20 men and 20 women that will be able to compete. So all the racers, that want to be a part of this, they have to submit an application to get picked to be one of the 20 men or 20 women who are vying for this $250,000 prize purse.
That's fantastic.
So, but it includes some major races. The Sea Otter Classic, it's like a 70-mile off-road mountain bike race. And then the 200-mile Unbound gravel, and then the Crusher and the Tusher, which is in Utah, a 70-mile gravel race, and then Leadville 100 mountain bike race.
Wow.
And then Shakwa-Magwin, I probably said that wrong. It's a mountain bike race in Wisconsin, and then Big Sugar Gravel in Bentonville, Arkansas. So some big races. They didn't want it to open up to all pros because they want there to be room in these races for the masses. But this is kind of a cool little concept with $250,000 on the line. So
are they going to drug test before they hand over that check for $250,000?
No clue.
Lifetime is doing a lot of cool stuff for cycling. How many of those events do they actually own?
I believe they own Sea Otter, they own Unbound, they own Crusher. I don't know about Leadville or Big Sugar. They might own all of them, but I know they own most of those.
Wow. That's pretty neat. That'll be fun to watch for sure.
That could be interesting.
Cool. My one last thing is we're coming up on Thanksgiving. Pretty thankful for that. Just kidding. But that gets us one step closer to the next month, and the first Saturday in next month. Sorry, this is a terrible transition. I'll just cut to the chase. On December 5th, if I'm not mistaken, that's a Saturday, we're going to have our Ugly Christmas Sweater Ride, and that's going to kick off our Bikes for Kids fundraiser program, and we'll have a GoFundMe thing going live here pretty soon, and people can make donations to that. And what the Bikes for Kids program is us collecting money, and that money is actually growing still, so that we can buy bikes for less fortunate kids. And we're hoping to actually have access to bikes this year, which will be kind of nice. I'm meeting with Cannondale in early January to talk about some bikes and BMC as well to get a bunch of kids' bikes. So we will buy bikes for less fortunate kids that would never have access to a bike, let alone a nice bike, and then we'll get them a nice helmet and we'll get them a bike lock. We'll build everything for them and we'll hand deliver these things over to these kids and teach them how to ride them and take care of them and just have a fun day of the whole process. So really super pumped and looking forward to that. It's going to be a blast, but it's always a good time kicking that off with the Ugly Christmas Sweater Ride. Will you guys be joining us this year?
I should be home and I should be able to join you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lance is going to
I'm
be
hoping
in town.
to as well. I'll probably be like fair weather friend. If the weather's decent, I'll probably go out there.
Got to come out regardless, man. It's fun. But one other thing to add to that whole Bikes for Kids. So we had Dylan Wiggins on a few weeks ago, and he brought in that stem that just knocked our socks off, right? Yeah. So Dove Erickson actually won that, and then she's like, oh my gosh, there's no way that I can take that. She's like, somebody in the Dialed family needs to have that, not me, yada, yada, yada. So that was one of those things. Then she contacted Matt, she contacted me, and she basically said, I'm going to give it back to you guys. And so what we're actually going to end up doing with that is we're going to auction it off. So it's a custom painted, it's freaking awesome stem. I think it's a 110 if I'm not mistaken, and it's gonna be something that we can raise a few bucks for, and 100% of the proceeds from that will go to Bikes for Kids. Ran it by Dove. She's ecstatic about that. I asked Dylan if he was okay with that. He was stoked on it as well, and I think that's
cool.
That's gonna be the best place. So
we could do the auction at our 200th episode.
Ooh,
would those dates work out? I'm just thinking, like, it would be cool to do that live.
Potentially, yeah. That could be pretty fantastic.
Yeah, that could be good.
We could have, like, somebody manning the phone and taking some phone call-in auctions or something. I don't know. That
email.
Could,
no, I don't know how it works.
Yeah,
we figure something out.
So we'll figure out something. We'll post that up, and we'll get the funds going on it, and it might be one of those things where we would try and close it out at the live broadcast, and somebody live could actually outbid whoever the highest bidder is on the interwebs. I don't know. I just hope that we can make a few bucks from that thing. So that would be kind of
cool.
Yeah. So that's about it. Cool. Got anything else? You guys going? You gonna go home or not home? To your where are you going, Lance? You're going to Airbnb.
An Airbnb.
That's where you're
Some
going.
house we rented in Salt Lake City,
Gotcha.
right downtown.
And we'll see you back here next week. Matt, are you going to be riding with us tomorrow? Are you going to come out and do the gravel ride on your mountain bike?
I don't think I'm allowed to go out and do anything. I would love to. I was thinking about that ride, and I was like, I'll just bring my mountain bike. That'd be fun. And then I have a feeling, because we're doing a turkey trot run in the morning, and I have a feeling after that I'm on family patrol.
Gotcha.
So.
Cool. All right, well, we do hope that everybody has a great Thanksgiving. We will be back doing this again next week, hopefully, maybe interview with Lance, and Evan's already signed up for one as well, so we'll get those out to y'all. And then just look forward to that 200th show coming up here pretty soon. I think today is 196, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
So we're awfully close.
Cool.
So thank you for listening. We will catch you next week. Until then, bye for now.